was at this moment he knew. He fucked up.
By now, unless you've been living under a rock over the last couple of weeks, then you will have heard of a brand new game taking the world by storm called Arc Raiders, made by Embark Studios, the same people that brought you the games like The Finals, and that's pretty much it. I don't think they actually have anything else under their belt, but that's not important. They have made some absolute bangers in both The Finals and, of course, Arc Raiders. Side tangent, if you have been living under a rock for the past 2 weeks, can you please give your mom a call? She keeps busting my door down, and it's getting a little freaky, to say the least. Arc Raiders is an extraction shooter, a genre and a niche that is so microcosmed that most people trying to break into it, as well as other games trying to break into it, have failed over and over and over again to take down the top dog. But Arc Raiders has somehow, over these last few weeks, and nay, even a few months, have had people claim that not only should it be nominated for Game of the Year, but could outright win the thing at the upcoming Game Awards. That's not gonna happen. Shroud. But what exactly has Embark Studios done? What have they created with Arc Raiders to change the mold of extraction shooters forever and make this genre playable to more people? Well, that's what I intend on finding out today. Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is D3Structive Dude, and today I'm going to tell you how Arc Raiders has saved extraction shooters. Now listen, I know, the aura is incredibly cringe, especially for somebody teetering on the age of 30 next year. Nobody put unk in my comment section. You will be banned or you will be kissed. You are subjected to both consensually. But for most extraction shooters, they have tried to follow the same formula made popular by the biggest extraction shooter of all, Escape from Tarkov. First-person shooter, military gear, AI that are either incredibly overpowered or have the absolute brain knowledge of a small rock or ant, and all of the maps and environments and atmosphere just feel the same. There's nothing really distinguishable about them. They all feel like your very basic, bare bones, military simulator Arma style of map, whereas Arc Raiders turns that entire idea 180 on its head. We're not just talking about the fact that the game has swappable third-person shooting shoulders. We're not just talking about the fact that crossplay is enabled by default, allowing for both controller players on PC as well as console players to get involved with the game without feeling like they're super far behind from that of a person on PC using mouse and keyboard. We're not just talking about the fact that the AI feels so powerful at times that it does require either teamwork and collaboration to take down or outright stealth ability to know when to choose and when to run. But one of the most important things about the aura and the allure of Arc Raiders is that the game never makes you feel stupid for dying, which I know seems crazy, but if you've never played an extraction shooter before, allow me to break down the gameplay loop for you. Your objectives are very simple. Pick a map out of the available map pool for you to play. Depending on how many raids you've done, you'll have a limited amount of maps that you can choose, and the goal is to walk in with the loot that you have, get more loot, and leave with not only the loot you brought in, but with other better loot to continue to craft more gear, more weapons, to eventually take on more powerful AI. One of the best things about Arc Raiders, and one of the biggest pieces to the aura that surrounds this game, is the fact that it is simple to learn, difficult to master. You never feel like you're out of touch with the game like you are with Escape from Tarkov when you accidentally load the wrong ammo type into a gun, and instead of shooting actual bullets, you are shooting little Orbeez filled with absolute butterfly and rainbows to enemies that want nothing to do than to chop your head off with a machete. I'm not projecting. I love Escape from Tarkov. It's one of my favorite games. Double thumbs down. But by keeping this gameplay loop simple and effective, it allows for players to grow and understand the game. They no longer have to spend thousands of hours memorizing maps, trying to understand different spawn locations, and most importantly, pulling their hair out so they have early onset male baldness by the time they are 29. They are able to play the game with their friends and grow as players and understand the gameplay loops better in that way, and I think that is the first phase of why Arc Raiders is so special. Accessibility is important for most any video game. We talked about previously on this channel the importance of crossplay with games like Fortnite, Call of Duty, Warzone, and Apex Legends, bridging the gap between not only PlayStation and Xbox players, but as those two ecosystems in addition to the PC world. This game does something incredibly similar to that. You have games that have crossplay enabled, and this is, of course, one of them, like I talked about before, but that also works against games like Escape from Tarkov, which has been the #1 extraction shooter for such a long time, even though the game runs horribly, has never been purely optimized, and has been in closed beta for almost 10 years. Like, they are just dropping 1.0 later this month. I have no idea what they're doing over there, but hey, Battle State Games, your games have never been in a battle state. What the fuck are we doing here, man? We will give Tarkov its flowers, though. It did rise immediately to the top of people's expectations and what they were looking for in extraction shooters, and we could see that down the line. Games like Delta Force, Call of Duty's DMZ, Arena Breakout Infinite, Gray Zone Warfare, all of these games were trying to copy, to some degree, the similarities between their games and Escape from Tarkov, the military sim situation, the UI, the looting, all of those things. But there is one thing that Arc Raiders does differently than all of those things, and I'm not talking about bringing this adorable legume, my favorite VTuber, over and having him buy a Vice script with this video game. Hello, Peanut. If you somehow see this video, I love you, Mr. Bungulator. Give me a kiss. I'm talking about that crossplay legitimately gives players the opportunity to enjoy this game with their friends and gives console players the ability to actually enjoy an extraction shooter, which for the longest time wasn't really possible for them. In addition to that, the UI is incredibly user-friendly, showing where items can be found on maps or a general location of where they are, where extraction points are, what areas of the maps have medium to high loot pools, including which those places are going to have more dangerous enemy types. There's a lot of things in the UI itself while you're in raid that make the game user-friendly. Again, in comparison to Escape from Tarkov, where you have to memorize these maps by playing the game for thousands upon thousands of hours to truly understand what the hell is happening. And even if you spent all that time learning and understanding, you're still going to be put behind the 8 ball almost all of the time. But with Arc Raiders, it feels different. You never truly feel like the time you're spending in the game isn't going directly into becoming a better player. I've been playing this game almost non-stop exclusively since its release. I have almost 40 plus hours into it. I know, go outside, touch some grass. I'm working on it, thank you. But this game has me by a chokehold for multiple different reasons, and the accessibility is definitely a part of that. You never feel like you're truly poor in this game either. You have a little chicken, everyone's favorite cock, his name is Scrappy, and after every completion of a raid, you get a bunch of the lowest common tier loot that you can use to create better loot, which you can use to create better weapons, better backpacks, better shields, better gear. Overall, the looting pool and the gameplay loop feels way more smooth than that of Escape from Tarkov, as well as the simplicity between which weapon types can have what attachments. Instead of having a massive weapon wheel with 700 different attachment styles, you get a gun, you get a grip, a magazine, a muzzle, maybe a stock, and you're locked and loaded. And I love that, and I think a lot of people are really enjoying that. I also want to talk about free loadouts for a minute, a feature that is both in Escape from Tarkov and from Arc Raiders, but Arc Raiders just does it a little bit better. You see, in Escape from Tarkov, you have a thing called scav raids, which allows you once every 30 minutes to boot up an NPC scav character, get into the raid a little bit later with worse tier loot, and try to fight your way out and survive. But now, regardless, even if you live or if you die, you can only do that once every 30 minutes, whereas in Arc Raiders, you can always take in a free loadout. Now, granted, your gear will be at a minimum. You won't have as much ammo. You have no control over what weapon you get. It will always be a common weapon, and you have no control over what utility you get besides at least one shield recharger and 2 bandages, but you're also able to take down enemies with the same kind of prowess. The common guns in this game, unless you are going against somebody who has a big shield, are very much lethal, and you can escape with this loot and other loot you accompany with easily throughout these raids. And the best part is, if you do escape a raid with free loadout, you get to trade in that common backpack for a better backpack in the future for the absolute price of 0.99 cents. It's free, baby. It's free 99. Get with the program. The point being is that the accessibility across the board, from how easy the gameplay is to understand, the looting system, where the loot is on the map, and how all the weapons interact with each other, is simple to learn, hard to master. But I think that's what makes this game so special. You have people who have never played an extraction shooter before. Even Call of Duty's DMZ mode had a little bit of nuance to it. And while this game is not easy, by any means. Trust me, I'll play the montage right now of me getting my ass kicked. Editing Drew, play that shit real quick. Thank you, Editing Drew. I appreciate that. The point is that the gameplay loop never makes you feel like you are losing because of some cheap stray bullet that hits you in the face or because your gun had the wrong ammo, and it makes you want to keep diving into it. And I think all that has to do with the accessibility of how well put together this game is. The final phase of the Arc Raiders hype has to, of course, be the community. And that's with most modern day multiplayer games. You're not going to find a multiplayer game that's going to survive very long in the current ecosystem of 2025 gaming if the community is not steadfast and strong. And I can tell you right now, the Arc Raiders community, well, this shit's lit, and it's got one thing to do with it, and it's that motherfucker right there. Bring in the bungulator. Let's jam. Extraction shooters in general are just a very hard genre to break into. Again, we talked about it at the top of this video. Games like Gray Zone Warfare, DMZ from Call of Duty, Delta Force, these games have tried to break into the scene, and while they have had some success, it's very, very difficult for any of them to topple Escape from Tarkov. But with big streamers, of course, Mr. Peanut included being the top of the game right now for Tarkov streamers, as well as bigger streamers across other games, guys like Tim the Tatman and Ninja, with all of these people playing the game not only together, but with their own individual friend groups, we are seeing a lot more eyes on a game that genuinely kind of came out of nowhere. Now, for me, I had this on my wish list for a really long time, but I know some people just didn't see this one coming, and now I'm glad that everybody is really enjoying it. As these streamers continue to talk and grow with each other, continue to play the game, and show people that this game is an incredibly fun time, we are going to continue to see increased player counts over the next couple weeks and, of course, months. I mean, we've already seen the Steam charts here on screen. You can see that the game has steadily increased its daily logins every single day. You have guys like Shroud actively saying that this should be Game of the Year, which, again, I don't agree with, but this is how big this game is currently, and I truly believe that if Embark Studios does the right thing, continues to implement more maps, more loot, different enemy types, which we know are on the way, this could have the makings of being not only the best game of the year in 2025 in terms of multiplayer, and not only the best extraction shooter released this year, but this has the makings to topple the current king of extraction shooters, Escape from Tarkov, and become its very own entity as one of the best multiplayer games we maybe have ever seen. That is all for today's video, guys. Let me know in the comments section if you have tried out Arc Raiders and if you are currently enjoying it. And I mentioned in this video talking about Game of the Year 2025 and how it might be Expedition 33, but it could be a couple other games. And if you want to hear more about that discussion, check out my video from last week. I appreciate you very much. Give that one a look. We're going to talk about that, as well as if you're curious where I put Shroud, I also have a 7 levels of gamer video up, which you should check out as well. Thank you again so much for watching. Make sure you guys leave a like on the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and ding the notification bell so you never miss an upload. And until next time, I'm D3. Peace.